what are the entry-level software engineering skills in 2026? So when I think about a junior developer and what I would need for them to know and understand when joining my team is very first thing, you need to read and understand code. You need to understand how to write and read code. So being able to create a script and update a script or some type of software and the code for that software, is it going to be necessary? Whether it's just knowing how to update a logical conditional statement, knowing how to update the variables inside of a piece of software, knowing how to change a configuration, right? I need you to understand how to do that. I need you to understand how to read another person's code. If I give you a code base and say, explain to me what this function is doing and write some documentation on this code base. I need you to be able to understand that, understand the like how to get into every level of the code, how to explore the code base, right? Not just sticking in one file, but knowing how to move around, knowing how to look up and look into the helper functions, knowing how to look at what functions does this function call and how the actual stack trace might work without an actual exception happening, right? And us having to manually verify that trace. You should know about that. You should also know about software architectures and the different components that could be in place, right? You should know what a database is. You should know what a API is, what a cache is, what the cloud is versus on-prem, and how that all sits inside of a products or a services architecture. And you should be able to point to them and say, this is where this should belong. This is where this problem could be if we're noticing these types of challenges, right? You should be able to document that and understand how to read an architecture diagram with these components inside of it. And then you should be familiar with an IDE, a coding assistant, GitHub, GitLab, or some other source code management tool, and at least one cloud provider's console, right? You should understand how to log into a AWS console or an Azure console or a G Cloud console. And I'm not saying use all of the services in that console, but at least be familiar with kind of what they do, what services are available, the names of some of those services, at least the most important ones, right? Like how to spin up a VM, which you're probably not going to ever spin up a VM, but you should be able to at least know how to do it. Or you might be able to look into the logs for a particular service or application. Like you should at least be familiar with exploring that console because we're not expecting entry level software engineers to know everything, but you need to know enough to not be lost if we send you on a mission or we send you on a task, right? We shouldn't have to hold your hand through everything, and it shouldn't take too long to get you up to speed on what our current team is working on or how we're managing our processes because you're familiar enough with most of the tools that we're using, or at least you're familiar with the category of tools that we're using. That's something that you have to keep in mind when you're going into any team. Like, make sure you have those kind of fundamental skills and that fundamental context and knowledge so that when you jump onto a new team, you're not lost and it doesn't seem like, you're out of place.